Hey guys, it's me Ẹranko again, and today I would be continuing on the previous video that I made on domesticated animals. So in this video I'm going to talk about the reasons why we domesticate animals. In the previous video I mentioned the names of those animals in Yoruba language. So today's topic is àwọn ìdí tí a fi ń sin ẹranko. Àwọn ìdí is reasons. So if it was one reason it would be ìdí, but since it's more than one, it's àwọn ìdí tí a fi ń sin ẹranko, that we raise animals. Ẹranko is animals. Sin is domesticate or raise or rear. So àwọn ìdí tí a fi ń sin ẹranko is the topic, and the very first one would be for food. A máa ń sin ẹranko fún oúnjẹ. We raise animals for food. So like I said, sin. Kéèyàn sin nǹkan. To raise something, it's sin in Yoruba. That's the word. So and ẹranko is animals. So we constantly do it. So a máa ń sin ẹranko fún oúnjẹ, for food. A máa ń sin ẹranko fún oúnjẹ. A máa ń sin ẹranko fún oúnjẹ. So what kind of food would that be? Irú oúnjẹ wo? What kind of food? Irú oúnjẹ wo? The common ones are for eggs. So ẹyin, eggs. Ẹyin, eggs. Ẹran, meat. Ẹran, meat. Ẹran, meat. The next one is wàrà, milk or milk curds. Wàrà, milk or milk curds. Wàrà, wàrà, wàrà. And fried milk curds, which are also known as tofu. Wàrà díndín, wàrà díndín, wàrà díndín, wàrà díndín. Fried milk curds, tofu. Another reason why we raise or domesticate or rear animals is for exchange. So that doesn't happen as much now, but back in the day when trade by barter was like the order of the day, if you had something, before there was currency, in the earliest periods of like living in the Yoruba community, if you had a goat, for instance, and you needed help with you had some sort of work to do and you wanted to reward someone, they would work with you and then you would give them like a goat or a ram or something. So, and even amongst kings as well, you could exchange gifts of like horses or camels with each other. So we raised animals for exchange. A máa ń sin ẹranko fún pàṣípààrọ̀. A máa ń sin ẹranko fún pàṣípààrọ̀. Pàṣípààrọ̀ is exchange. A máa ń sin ẹranko fún pàṣípààrọ̀. A máa ń sin ẹranko fún pàṣípààrọ̀. Another reason why we raise animals is for sale or for money. So títà. Kéèyàn ta nǹkan. Títà is sale. Owó is money. So a máa ń sin ẹranko fún títà tàbí fún owó or for money. We raise animals for sale or for money. So you could say, you can say a máa ń sin ẹranko fún títà or a máa ń sin ẹranko fún owó. Another reason why we raise or domesticate animals is for companionship, which is like still pretty common even till today. So a máa ń sin ẹranko fún ìbágbépọ̀ àti láti fi wọ́n ṣe agbèjì ara tàbí ọ̀rẹ́. A máa ń sin ẹranko fún ìbágbépọ̀ àti láti fi wọ́n ṣe agbèjì ara tàbí ọ̀rẹ́. We raise animals so they can live with us and for their companionship or friendship. So that's another common reason why we raise animals. A máa ń sin ẹranko fún ìdárayá. We raise animals for entertainment. So back then, like with parrots and horses and these animals were quite entertaining, a good number of them. So, and even the ones that like you would not traditionally consider funny, they could like teach them a skill or whatever and have them do it and have people clap or whatever. So for entertainment basically, and they could make money from it as well, but not necessarily. It was usually provided for the community. The communities were usually like close knit or whatever. They were not usually that large or that modern. So things like this would be available usually for free. So parrots talking and horses racing and stuff like that. Horses were not that common though. They were usually like owned by kings. Not everyone had the luxury of horses. But basically for entertainment, a máa ń sin ẹranko fún ìdárayá. A máa ń sin ẹranko fún ìdárayá. Ìdárayá is entertainment. Another reason why we raise animals is for sacrifice or peace offerings. A máa ń sin ẹranko fún ìrúbọ tàbí ètùtù tàbí ìpèsè. Tàbí is or, so that's what the slash is for. A máa ń sin ẹranko fún ìrúbọ tàbí ètùtù tàbí ìpèsè. So we raise animals for sacrifice or peace offerings. We have deities in the Yoruba culture. We have we have Oshun, we have Ogun, we have Shango, we have Oya, we have Shopono, we have Obatala, we have Orishala, we have Ishu, Talu. We have a good number of them, and they in those paths, animals are often sacrificed. They were often sacrificed, and they still are often sacrificed. Like in almost all religions, you see animal sacrifice. In Islam, for example, they're about to start slaughtering rams. Like it's common, so don't be upset or anything. It's pretty basic. Like even in Christianity, if you open your Bible, if like you're a Christian and you're watching this, just before you get upset, animal sacrifices were like even specific. Like they had to be spotless and they had to be this big and they had to be this and that. Animals were also sacrificed in the Bible as well, so don't get upset or anything. So for sacrifice, another reason why we raise animals is for sending insults or clapbacks or sending direct or indirect messages. So a máa ń sin ẹranko fún rírán èébú sí ẹlòmíràn, sending insults to another person, tàbí láti fi wọ́n pa àrokò, or to use them for sending direct or indirect messages. So what do I mean by for sending insults or clapbacks? So it was pretty common that people, like if they had conflict, they would not go like toe to toe trying to hit each other or trying to get physical with each other. If you are married to a polygamous setting, for example, if you're like the first wife or the second wife or the third, and you wanted to like insult your senior wife or whatever, you would name that animal your senior wife's name, or like a second name, or maybe not even name the animal a name that can be traced to wherever it is you're trying to insult at all. You can just name them like you can give them a nasty name. You can give the dog a nasty name, or the cat a nasty name, or the goat a nasty name. And you would, whenever you got upset, you would go outside to insult that goat or that dog or that ram, and you would, instead of going to your senior wife and like spitting in her face and calling her names, you would call the animal names. You would say, Moroboria, shaking, like you would insult the animal basically, and whoever it is you're insulting would know because obviously you've not had that much contact with like a goat to say, oh, they disappointed you, or they're good for nothing, or like if a goat hasn't done anything to you, you wouldn't say. So whoever it is that you had conflict or fracas with would know that, I know this person is talking about me, and I know they're shading me. So it kind of helped to curb violence, I think. People would insult animals. For sending direct or indirect messages, another thing that was common was that if perhaps you were fighting with the next town, maybe your kingdom, within your kingdom, or maybe there's a fracas between your own town and the next town, maybe the one really close or the one far away, and you want to say, okay, yeah, let's call this war off. Like, yeah, we really should not be enemies. We need each other. These towns need each other to survive. You guys have lots of maybe coconuts or whatever, and we don't have that many because our trees don't have that many coconuts. Or you have this large, place for farm. You have this large forest that our hunters could come to hunt, and we don't have that much land. Like, let's just call this fracas off. Like, that's enough. You could send doves. You could send animals like doves to them. So animals like doves, like peaceful animals, to them, and they would know that, okay, yeah, adaba is what a dove is, by the way. If you watched the previous video, you would see the names of these animals, at least domesticated animals. So you would send the dove to them and say, so you wouldn't even need to say anything. You would send someone, and the king would know, and it would be delivered to the king, and the king would know, okay, yeah, the next time was asking for peace, we should probably like stop fighting or whatever. Should probably call it off. Another reason why we domesticate animals is for help. We raise animals for their help at work or their physical labor. A máa ń sin ẹranko fún ìrànlọ́wọ́ lẹ́nu iṣẹ́. A máa ń sin ẹranko fún ìrànlọ́wọ́ lẹ́nu iṣẹ́. So for help, ìrànlọ́wọ́ is help. At work, iṣẹ́ is work. We would maybe go to the farm with our donkey, and whenever we're coming back with like produce or harvest, we would put it's still done, like even in the Philippines and India and many places, people still have animals carry their stuff. Like, there were no cars or anything. So if you were lucky enough, because I think donkeys back then were luxuries as well. Not everyone had them. Like, even some kings could not afford horses, but they could afford or some chiefs. Not. I mean, the kings. At least most of the kings were able to afford horses back then, or they could get access to one. But the chiefs would usually have like donkeys, and like. My point basically is not everyone had the luxury of donkeys, but when they did, the donkeys were able to carry their stuff around. So for at least at work. So if they were farmers, the donkeys would help them carry the produce back home. Another reason why we raise animals, apart from their help at work, is for transportation or for journeying. A máa ń sin ẹranko kí wọ́n lè gbé wa rìnrìn àjò. For journeying. A máa ń sin ẹranko kí wọ́n lè gbé wa rìnrìn àjò. We raise animals for journeying or as a means of transportation. So what kind of animals will fall within this category? The common ones: camels, horses, donkeys, asses. Those are the major ones that are well known for having the power to carry humans on their backs. So another reason why we raise or domesticate animals is for their assistance or help to the differently abled or the handicapped, like the blind or the sick. So like I said, we don't often think of animals as workers, but animals work. They may not work for pay, they may work for food or work for your affection or attention or whatever, but they do work. So if you are if a person is blind and they have a goat or dog, if someone is approaching that blind person, they would either bleat or bark or do something to make the person know, the handicapped person know that someone is approaching you. You better get ready. So they work in that regard. They help people. For people that usually have seizures or like have something or have a form of ailment of sorts, let's say someone who's epileptic, for example, they could be given a gift of a dog, or they could buy it themselves. And whenever they're having seizures, the dog would be trained to either go to someone's house, maybe like the Onishegu's house, so the herbalist or the healer, or alagbo, herbalist or healer, and let them know that you better rush there because they're having seizures again. You better go to take care of them. So the dog would be trained to to navigate between houses and call whoever they need to call, or so things like that. Like even tying a collar or a rope around an animal's neck and having them work before you, like guide dogs for like the blind, or like support dogs or whatever. Animals have been known, domesticated animals were common for helping people. They were not, it wasn't like half of the town was handicapped or sick or whatever, but whenever there were cases like that or instances of that, animals were, I'm getting tired. You can almost tell in my voice. Sorry. So, a máa ń sin ẹranko fún ìrànlọ́wọ́ abirùn tàbí aláàbọ̀ ara bíi afọ́jú tàbí aláìsàn. A máa ń sin ẹranko fún ìrànlọ́wọ́, for their help or assistance, ìrànlọ́wọ́ abirùn or aláàbọ̀ ara. So abirùn is a different, I don't like saying disabled because I don't know, I just find it somewhat offensive. So a máa ń sin ẹranko fún ìrànlọ́wọ́ abirùn tàbí aláàbọ̀ ara bíi afọ́jú tàbí aláìsàn, or the sick, someone who is sick, aláìsàn. Another reason why we domesticate or raise animals is to display wealth, or like to show that we are affluent. A máa ń sin ẹranko láti fi wọ́n ṣakọ tàbí láti fi wọ́n ṣe ìfihàn ọlá tàbí ipò. We raise animals so we can show them off or make them symbols or indicators of our level of our amount of wealth that we have, or our status. So if you're like I don't know, a king or whatever, and you're rich enough to afford a horse, of course you will get a horse. If you are like the chief of the hunters and you want to show that you can, you're basically the king of the jungle, you could capture a cheetah, and cage them in some place, basically put them in a cage so they wouldn't escape. You can either give them as a gift to the king or just keep it for yourself. And it would be an exotic animal, not every, I know they do it a lot even in Saudi Arabia right now, where you would see like this rich guys with cheetahs and lions, and just to show that, well, everyone has a dog in their house, but definitely not everyone has a cheetah in their house. So I don't know, sometimes it can be a pride thing. If you're rich enough to get an animal to show that you're affluent, you do so. I mean, I'm not advocating for that right now. I mean, I think that's unnecessary, but that was what was done in the past. So, another reason why we domesticate animals is so we can save money, so they can eat our leftovers. A máa ń sin ẹranko láti rí owó fi pamọ́ to save money. In what sense? Save money in what sense? So they can eat our leftovers. Kí wọ́n lè jẹ àjẹkù. If you're a caterer, and you, at the end of the day, you notice that you often have lots of leftovers. Instead of pouring it away or like dumping it in the garbage, you could think, oh wow, if I had a pet, they would like enjoy all this leftover meat and leftover fish and leftover porridge, leftover everything. So maybe I should adopt a small dog or adopt a small whatever animal they wish, a small cat, and have them eat this leftovers. So that way you're saving money, or you're saving resources. And at the end of the day, when the animal is big enough, you could sell it and you could make money that way as well. So you could raise animals to save money. Another reason why we raise animals is so they can act as security agents for us. A máa ń sin ẹranko láti fi wọ́n ṣe ẹ̀ṣọ́. A máa ń sin ẹranko láti fi wọ́n ṣe ẹ̀ṣọ́. So if you tie a dog to the front of your hut, H-U-T, hut, and you want to know whenever someone is approaching, you could let them stay in front of the house and act as security agents. It's just very similar to what I said about the differently abled as well. If someone is coming closer, they would bark, or you could put a dog, a trained dog now, beside a baby, but that wasn't really common. And maybe if you were farming or whatever, and you had to take your baby to or maybe you just wanted to harvest. Really, if you just wanted to harvest some food, you could take your dog to the farm with you and put your little child beside the dog, knowing fully well that the dog will protect that baby to the death. So they could act as security agents that way. A máa ń sin ẹranko láti ṣe ìrànlọ́wọ́ fún ọ. This is my favorite reason why we raise animals. We raise animals in order to help them. They would treat their wounds and adopt them and let them live with whatever household would be adopting that animal. So, a máa ń sin ẹranko láti ṣe ìrànlọ́wọ́ fún wọn. We raise animals to help them, or it could even be an animal in the wild that is often bullied. You know, you could break them and protect them and build a new home for them within your town. So, a máa ń sin ẹranko láti ṣe ìrànlọ́wọ́ fún wọn. Lastly, that was the last one. That was the last reason. This is just an advice. Please don't abuse animals anymore. Show them love, because they have spirits too. They are sentient beings. Ẹ jọ̀wọ́, ẹ má fi ìyà jẹ àwọn ẹranko mọ́. Ẹ fi ìfẹ́ hàn sí wọn nítorí pé ẹlẹ́mìí ni àwọn náà. There's something I have to say about not abusing animals. If the karma is real, so if let's say a person is unable to give birth, and the oracle says, Ifa says, this person in a past life, or maybe one of their ancestors or whatever, just the oracle makes a connection to a past and says someone in their lineage, or even them in a past life, were infamous for abusing animals for no reason. So they could, like, I don't know, just see a dog and cut off its toes for no reason, or see a goat and slice its arm for no reason. The oracle could say, if you want this woman to give birth, tell her to get like a small goat, and a female one, so a female goat, small one, and let them raise the goats till the point that it would till it's to the point where it would be able to give birth, you know, and let someone mate with it. Let a male goat mate with it so that it would give birth. And as soon as that animal begins to give birth, the woman would begin to give birth as well. So things like that could happen. In order to save yourself from bad karma, don't abuse animals for any reason, like, or just for the fun of it. Don't kick animals. Treat them with respect. Recognize that they're sentient beings and they can feel too, and they're intelligent. They're super intelligent. So even in many cases, more intelligent than humans. Like, you never know how powerful they are until you go to the wild. Then you know, oh yeah, man is not the strongest animal, the strongest being in the world. Actually, there are stronger ones. So don't bully animals, don't treat them badly. It's very important. So that would be the end of this video. I don't know why I got tired that quickly. Thank you so much for watching. Ẹ ṣé púpọ̀. And if you've not seen the previous video on the names of those animals, please do so. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel and please like the video. Thank you. And I'll see you in